I know this is a bit of an unoriginal idea, but my wooden coaster ranking changed drastically in the past few months, so I thought I might as well do it. With that said, let's get into the ranking. In 15th place is Blue Streak at Cedar Point. For being an old roller coaster, this ride runs really well. It's not too rough, and the airtime hills can give good floater airtime. I also just love the color scheme on this ride. This ride really sells its own personality with the presentation and ride experience. Taking 14th place is The Legend at Arnold's Park. To put it quickly, this ride is short but sweet. Aside from the first drop, all of the elements provide good forces. The airtime hills all give good floater airtime, and the turns give decent laterals. On top of that, this ride runs like a dream after that GCI retracking. This ride has got to be the second most underrated roller coaster I've ever ridden. But don't worry, we'll get to the most underrated one later in the video. Taking the 13th spot is Zambezi Zinger at Worlds of Fun. This ride shines in places I didn't expect going in. I wasn't too sure how to feel about the Titan track going in. Now, I don't have any strong opinions on it. I thought I wouldn't like the trains, but I actually don't mind them, aside from not being able to lean back at all. I thought the airtime hills would give good floater airtime, but that wasn't the case. What surprised me in a good way were the constant switchback turns in the finale. I guess all the aspects on this ride managed to subvert my expectations. In the 12th spot is Zeus at Mount Olympus. This ride is the definition of an okay roller coaster. It's filled with a bunch of airtime hills that provide enough force to give airtime, but the restraints don't really allow that to happen. I did get some airtime in the first half, but both times I rode it, I got stapled in the turnaround. The contradicting feelings are why I believe this is just an okay roller coaster. Number 11 might be a surprise, but it's Lost Coaster of Superstition Mountain at Indiana Beach. I was extremely surprised with some of the forces this ride provided, mostly by the airtime. I legitimately got some pops of ejector airtime. I knew about the insane laterals going in, and they were great, but the airtime really caught me off guard. It did die down in the second half, but not to the point where it feels like a completely different roller coaster. Entering the top 10 of this list is Wolverine Wildcat and Michigan's Adventure. This is the most underrated roller coaster I've ever ridden. There are some really good airtime moments on this ride, particularly with the bunny hops between the turnarounds. The turnarounds themselves and the larger airtime hills don't really do anything, and all of the different types of track on this ride make the experience quite jarring. But this whole ride is a far cry from the awfulness coaster enthusiasts claim it is. Taking the ninth spot is Prowler at Worlds of Fun. I can see why this ride gets a lot of love from coaster enthusiasts, but I didn't care for it just because it was running super slow. The elements in the first half were pretty good because they reminded me of Renegade at Valley Fair by combining airtime and laterals into the same elements. The second half, however, has a lot of straight airtime hills that don't do anything. I really just got unlucky with this ride. In the 8th spot is Cornball Express at Indiana Beach. This ride looks like it shouldn't be good, but it delivers. Honestly, my only complaint with this ride is how rough it is. It's not as bad as Hades, but it did shake me up a decent amount. Other than that, I actually enjoyed the airtime this ride had, and the laterals were quite surprising. This ride also often gives good airtime and laterals at the same time. It really is a hidden gem when compared to Hoosier Hurricane. In 7th place is Viper at Six Flags Great America. This ride repeats the same general pattern over and over again, but mixes it up enough after each turnaround. Sometimes there are a couple airtime hills with good airtime. Sometimes there's an airtime hill that doesn't do anything. After the second one, there's a step down that gives really good airtime. I don't think it's the underrated masterpiece that people are calling it, but I do enjoy riding it whenever I get the chance. Taking 6th place is Renegade at Valley Fair. I have to keep saying this, but it's what makes the ride so special. This ride throws in airtime and laterals wherever it can. Almost all of the lateral filled turns sneak in an airtime pop. and almost all of the airtime hills either provide laterals while providing airtime, or have a small twist that has a quick pop of laterals. If only it wasn't for the roughness and the bad seatbelts, this ride would be much higher in my rankings. Entering the top 5 is Shivering Timbers at Michigan's Adventure. I love how one-dimensional this ride is. I'm really not joking when I say that this ride is all about the airtime hills. It does have a couple helixes with great laterals, but other than that, it's only airtime hills that give good floater airtime. It could stand to be a little smoother, but that's all I have to say against this ride. It's just nearly perfect for what it is. Taking the 4th spot is Zippin' Pippin at Bay Beach. The only reason I have this specific ride above Shivering Timbers is because I like the airtime more. And it's not just the ejector death hill. All of the airtime hills on this ride give at least great floater airtime on top of the ejector death hill. The turnarounds may have been extremely rough, but they were slow enough to not really bother me. They should still be smooth though. Taking the bronze medal is Goliath at Six Flags Great America. I don't care what anyone says, all of the elements on this ride slap, even the overbanks. They may be the weakest elements on this ride, but they were still pretty snappy and forceful. As for the rest of this ride, I felt like I was being tossed around like a rag doll, and despite getting pretty dizzy, I still loved it. Taking the silver medal is last year's best, Hades 360 at Mount Olympus. Despite the brutality, I love this ride. The pre-lift is amazing by having strong ejector airtime in a couple spots. The tunnel sections are my favorite parts of the ride because they had quick moments of laterals and airtime while it was pitch black for me. That island is also cool because the corkscrew comes out of nowhere. The overbank is quite snappy, and the airtime hill provides good floater airtime. Sure, the finale doesn't have the same force as the rest of the ride, but it doesn't exactly crawl towards the brake run like Prowler. If this ride was smoother, it may have had a chance to still be my favorite wooden coaster. Taking the gold medal is Outlaw Run at Silver Dollar City. I love everything about this ride. All of the airtime moments provided at least strong floater airtime. There was a tiny bit of a rattle, but it wasn't out of the ordinary for a wooden coaster. All of the inversions flared in their own ways. I love how there's an airtime pop going into the first one, and I love how the last two serve to get the train into the brake run. Honestly, I didn't feel like this was a short ride. There's just nothing wrong with this ride. That will conclude it for this video. It was a lot of fun to look back on. However, I'll probably have to do this again next year after riding Mystic Timbers, American Thunder, The Voyage, and more. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.